Sláinte and how do you do, buckaroos? And how the heck are you? Well, I'm technically still on vacation, but we are back home, despite what that lounge, the lounge background may suggest. I'm having a couple cocktails, so I was trying to set a mood for you all. No, I'm not really in this upscale bar. I can't afford stuff like that. Were you kidding? Why I buy stuff? Come home and make a nice cocktail, because most of the cocktails I make would probably be a good $20, $25 cocktail out, sometimes more. With the quality of whiskey I'm using, man. Yep. Trying to adjust that a little bit there. Did that do it? All right, let's fix that up where folks can watch. There we go. Anyway, let's start again. Start again. Cut and action. Take two. We're just getting started now, man. Forget about the first minute and 15 seconds. Anyways, I digress. I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, Perfect Whiskey Drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom, man. We'll skip the last to the end, but I've got two cocktails I'm going to have with you since I have them both out already. I want to get to them right away. Four Peel Strawberry Flavored Gin from Watershed Distillery. It's 43.8%, which will be what, 97.6 proof. Every year, we aim to make the most of summer. This year, we combine one of our favorite summer activities of soaking up the sun in a U-Pick berry farm with the citrusy flavors of our Four Peel Gin. This limited release is made with fresh Ohio strawberries, bringing the essence of summer into each sip. So what I've done here is I've made a strawberry martini. So I use the gin and about a half ounce of some strawberry simple and a frozen strawberry garnish and sláinte. Now I plan on doing other things with that strawberry simple. I can do a strawberry old fashioned with it. I can go a lot of different directions. But because I had this strawberry gin, I wanted to go with a martini inspired cocktail first. It's taken me a while to warm up to gin, but over the last 2 years, I've really been trying a bunch of different ones, and I found I really like barrel gins. Although I did buy this flavored one because it was different, and quite frankly, everything I had from Watershed was so amazing. I mean, if I had more money, I would have bought more stuff. I was buying a lot as it was. But we are home. It was a very nice vacation. I didn't get to everything I necessarily wanted to do, but I got through enough of it. That's why I really did. Everybody kept asking me, well, "What's your go-tos? What's your musts?" I don't have any. I just want to be happy with everything I get to because I didn't want to have to rush. If I only got to half a dozen breweries, that was fine. If I, because I didn't want to have to rush through everything. Oh, gotta quick drink this one here so I can get the next one. Drink this one here so I can get to the next one. I just didn't want to do that. I kind of went with the flow and the atmosphere, right? If some of them I just had one left, but if the atmosphere was such, I stayed for a while. I did like all the breweries I went to, but and I'm not really sure why, but the distilleries really stood out to me the most for a lot of reasons, for the products, for the customer service, and again for the atmosphere. Indianapolis was a big surprise to me because I had never been there before. Uh, and I hit two distilleries, Hotel Tango and Four Fingers. And then I hit a few breweries as well. But what I really loved about Indianapolis is how inclusive it was. You saw pride flags and trans flags and various versions of the all inclusive. I don't know the proper name for it, that include the two spirits. And I loved that they were bringing everybody together. But the Brazen Tap Rooms became about love and not hate, and I really liked that. I appreciated that. I wish my little corner of the of Missouri was a little more, well, a little less hate minded. Let's say a little less bigoted. Uh, a lot of Ohio was the same way too, though. My wife and I had our anniversary dinner, our first anniversary dinner anyway, at Watershed. They did a barrel aged old fashioned that was, oh my gosh, it was probably the best I've ever had, except for mine. That's the best I've ever ordered out. And I can say that because I've never ordered mine out. They were good, man. They were really good. So I picked up, I think one, two, three, four products from them. Picked up some Nocino, which I wasn't real familiar with, but I wanted to buy it because it's a barrel aged Nocino. And I want to do a cocktail real bad because I did it partly there, but I didn't have my black walnut bitters with me there. So I did the Nocino and the whiskey. But here I would add the black walnut bitters to kind of, it's not really a Manhattan, but it's not an old fashioned either because we just got those two alcohols and the bitters, just those three ingredients. I just noticed my black walnut's not in my tray here, so I'm not sure where my black walnut got to. I know they're here somewhere though. Let me finish up this one so I can get to my second cocktail before all my ice melts. So some of you are aware of my of my bitters. What's the word I'm looking for? My bitter Jones, I guess. Obsession, my wife says. That's probably closer. Um, my bitters obsession. Oddly enough, I only found one different one that I didn't have. Of all the places we went, I kept finding a lot of the same stuff. But I did find ginger. I found ginger at the last store we went to. The Total Wine there in St. Louis. Total Wine and More. They had these German bitters. So what I decided to do with it was, God, that is good. What I decided to do with it was uh, a ginger orange old fashioned. So what I did here is I made a ginger orange simple. I've got a candied orange in the glass, a candied ginger on the rim. And I like what the ginger's doing there. It kind of balances the sweetness of the simple and the orange. That's nice. But I did use the whiskey I use is part of that here. The Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. This stuff is insane, man. They're running a special if you bought this along with their bourbon cream. It was like, I don't know. I think another video I said $10 difference, but when I added it up again, I think it was closer to $20 cheaper than buying each separate. Which is kind of, I mean, the truth is, I probably wouldn't have bought the bourbon cream had it not been a thing. But since I was being a tourist, I figured, what the hell? This is at 60.3 proof, so 126, 120.6. I want to make that clear. Um, Mashed, distilled, and aged in charred American oak barrels, Brown County, Indiana. Every product I've had from Hard Truth has been rather amazing. So I bought another one on the before we left the area. Well, that's not true. I think I bought that other product. Brought the other product when we came back. I can't keep track now, but anyway, Hard Truth is really good. So I've got the Indiana and Ohio covered there with my liquors. I made a third simple syrup. I didn't want to do three cocktails in one video. So my third simple syrup is apricot. I use with some dried apricots. I'm going to do an apricot old fashioned later, and a Manhattan. I'll do a two cocktail video later. But this is really good, man. I'm having it in an old fashioned, but the truth is, just sweet mash rye. The sweet mash rye is just amazing. I mean, I drank it neat. It's perfect neat. Barrel strength, uncut and unfiltered, which I really like. Our distiller's select blend of straight rye whiskey aged perfectly to attract notes of brown sugar, orchard fruit, and peppercorn from new. Yeah, you really do feel those peppercorn notes. From new charred American white oak barrels. They don't give me the exact mash, just says sweet mash. Nevertheless, it's the stuff is really good. If you can find these products, I didn't find them in Missouri, but I did find them in Illinois just before we crossed the river into Missouri. So they may be getting some larger distribution. So I'm hoping I'll find them here shortly. I love when that happens, though, when I have to travel to find something, then a few months later I can find it in my neck of the woods. Okay, great. Because it's a bummer when you find products that you really love and you know you're never going to be able to get them again. I have that issue with another distillery, or it just became an issue because I wasn't familiar with this distillery until a couple days ago. The Neely family distillery. I found it by accident. Well, actually, my wife found it. Uh, we were having to pull off to get some gas, and so there was a sign half mile Neely Family Distillery. Okay, then. Does you want to go? We were kind of running behind, trying to get to our get into St. Louis. And I said, "Yeah, I want to go, but yeah, we need to get there." She said, "Well, I could use a little rest." So I thought, well, it just seemed a shame to be a half mile away and not go. Anyway, long story short, I bought three products from them. I've only tried one of them. The one I've tried is so amazing that now I'm a little bummed I'll never be able to get those products. Yeah, they're really good, man. I am looking forward to. We're not folks that have company over. We're just for various reasons. My wife has a lot of anxiety, so we just don't really do company anymore. But a lot of the products that I have, I would like to share with some friends. So I need to figure something out where we can arrange kind of a bottle share somewhere where I can share some of these products because I love to share stuff. I probably bought more bottles of whiskey on this trip than I bought all of last year combined. The total of last year, everything I bought last year, I bought on this trip, and now I'm feeling guilty about it that I did, because I was just buying in each spot, I didn't realize how much I bought till we started unpacking. So, oh gosh, I wanted to kind of stock up so I wouldn't have to buy any for a while, but now I'm feeling guilty about how much money I spent. Then again, I won't be going out a lot, and I won't be buying. So I've only been to the liquor store three times so far this year. We've got two big liquor stores in town. One I haven't been to at all. The other one I've only been to three times. And now with the beer and whiskey that I amassed, I probably won't go to either for the rest of the year unless we need, incidentals. If I got to pick up bitters somewhere or something like that. Ah, My wife picked up more alcohol this year than any other vacation we. So I'm curious to see how that goes. We tried doing some. We had about 3 years where we went to for anniversaries. We went to um, local or local-ish wineries. Just a few hours away. We were able to really go more than 3.5 hours. So we were kind of planning our trips that way. Our anniversaries, especially around going down wineries and doing a lot of stuff together. But she'd been kind of getting to where she wasn't enjoying the wine as much for different reasons. And then I started making her some different specialty cocktails when I started doing more cocktails at work and coming up with different ideas. And she said she was enjoying that more than the wine. So on our last anniversary dinner, our last big dinner before we headed home at Kavanaugh's on the River through the valleys, she had an espresso martini. Says it really wasn't her thing, or chocolate martini rather, chocolate martini, so chocolate martini. But at least she tried it, and I think she drank it all, if I remember right. You drank it all, didn't you? Yeah. I don't think you heard my wife. She said we're going to pay that much, and I drank it all. So I was kind of surprised, and they might have had one if I asked. But I was kind of surprised they didn't have an old fashioned or a Manhattan in their cocktail menu. But I just had one cocktail before dinner, and I had their what they called their 007 martini, and I had it dirty with some blue cheese olives, and it was delicious. I think it used Absolute, which I was kind of surprised because most of the movies Bond used Stoli. Nevertheless, it was done well, and the service there at Kavanaugh's was, I mean, it was incredible. They were very good. Well, we're going to order a meal. We typically order a meal and share it, and that was kind of the plan. But we got cold and we got rained on during the trip. We got caught in the remnants of Helene and um, ended up getting wet. So by the time we got to the hotel and got checked in and everything, it was about time for our reservations. We were just a few minutes early, but anyways, it was just their soups were lobster bisque and French onion, and that because we had gotten so cold, just soup sounded good. So I ordered the lobster bisque. Wife ordered the French onion, which she said was delicious. My lobster bisque was possibly the best I've ever had out. It was really good. Large chunks of lobster, not little bits that you might find in a bisque typically, just big pieces of lobster. It was really nice, man. And the right consistency, and it made it look really pretty too. It looked really pretty, man. Uh, so we were going to order a meal, but by the time we finished our soup and they had, of course, we had the bread with they brought bread along with the bread and the soup. We were both kind of full, so we decided, well, we're not going to get a meal because we felt that we would overeat if we did that. We'd be overstuffed. So we just got the dessert. We got the dessert and shared the dessert. So had some dessert and some coffee, which they didn't put on the bill, by the way. The coffee, they put the coffee on the bill. But being a bartender now, since I'm a bartender for a living these days, I always make sure when I use a card for different things, when I use a card for meals, restaurants, bars, I always make sure I have cash to tip for cash tips. So I figure whatever they do with that is their own business. If they all pool at the end, whatever they do, I mean, I don't care at that point. You take the cash and put it in your pocket, as far as I'm concerned. But I know there's busters that need to be taken care of and that sort of thing. So, but I wanted to tip them very well. because they treated us very well. So and so they had a piano bar, it was kind of off to the side there, but there he was playing loud enough where we could hear it plenty well where we were eating. Because I thought about asking to stay there in the piano bar area, but I think it would have been too loud. We could hear it plenty good. We were a little ways away. We just couldn't see him, but we could hear nicely. It was very good though. In fact, I just tipped him blindly on the way in. I just dropped 5 into the jar because I mean it was good, and I know those guys don't get paid a whole lot. So, and I didn't request a song, so I just threw some money in there. But it was nice. Those cocktails are very nice. So I'm going to come back later with 2 more. I want to do a Manhattan as well. And so right now I'm trying to decide how I want to do that. Um, I did pick up some at the last Total Wine stop. I bought some very good vermouth. I wanted to kind of, it wasn't the top of the, wasn't, this vermouth, but it wasn't this vermouth. It was somewhere in the middle, but it was a good vermouth. So I want to make a nice traditional Manhattan. But then I've got that apricot simple, so I'm gonna try an apricot old fashioned as well. So anyway, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisper, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, for very wisdom all around. Good guys, launch you.